You're listening to the B&H Photography Podcast. For over 40 years, B&H has been the professional source for photography, video, audio, and more. For your favorite gear, news, and reviews, visit us at bnh.com or download the B&H app to your iPhone or Android device. Now here's your host, Alan Weitz.
Greetings and welcome to the B&H Photography Podcast. Before we get into today's show, the B&H Photography Podcast Facebook group we've been yapping about. It's live and we've been getting a lot of people signing up and joining, and pictures are already being posted and questions are being questioned and everything else. It's up and running. It's a lot of fun. It's the B&H Photography Podcast Facebook group. Head on over. You could find it on Facebook. You could find it on our website. It's easy. Also, a special thank you to Art Nelson of Art Nelson Photography, who took the time to leave a really, really nice comment about the show and what we do here on our SpeakPipe widget. So if you'd like to actually talk to us in person, leave us a message, and we do really appreciate it. Anyway, today's subject is medium format portraiture, and joining us in the studio are photographer Mark Mann and our very own Cory Rice. Mark has photographed more celebrities and iconic personalities than we can even think about here. Who's the last famous person you shot? Or at least photographed?
Hugh Grant.
Okay, there you go. Hugh Grant. Okay. He's famous. He's good.
No, that's a lie. Adam Scott. Adam Scott from Parks and Rec last week.
Cool. Okay, all right. We'll forgive you for that fib.
Wait, hang on. No.
Let's just say that if you've seen somebody on TV or in the movies, Mark has most likely photographed them. A little background. Mark was born in Glasgow. He's a graduate of the prestigious Manchester Polytechnic, and before setting out to set the world on fire, he assisted none other than photographers Nick Knight and Miles Aldridge. His commercial clients include Reebok, Adidas, Hennessy, Bombay Sapphire, Pepsi, Gillette, Vitamin Water, the NHL, Zumba, Ford, and Chrysler. And he recently spent a year photographing men ranging in age from 1 through 80 for a special issue of Esquire magazine celebrating the magazine's 80th anniversary. Welcome.
Hello. Can I just say this is super weird? I'm sitting in a little dark room with a whole lot of guys.
With microphones, headphones, and we're all staring at you.
And I feel like we should be playing poker.
Yeah, right?
That's during the break.
Right.
Okay? He saw the cards. Anyway, I'd be amiss if I failed to mention that Mark was one of the personalities involved in Cory and John's What is Photography project, which has received much well-received attention over the past few months, but more on that later on. Okay, let's start talking.
What'd you learn from Nick Knight?
What didn't I learn from Nick Knight? I was an intern for Nick for a little while.
This is Nick of the famous UK fashion photographer who mentored a whole generation of folks.
Yeah, and he chose me to come and intern with him, and I get down to Richmond in London, and day one, basically these guys, they're still in Paris, but he asked me if I can do casting photos for a job he's doing for Dylon, which is a dye company. And basically, I went to a studio, I was given a Polaroid camera, a literal Polaroid camera, and about 100 young ladies came in, and they all had to put on these tight shorts, and because the ad was going to be a lady opening her tight shorts and revealing the new color of her underwear. Mm-hmm. So my first thing that I ever did was photograph 100 women's underwear.
All right.
And I thought, this could be a profession that I'm interested in.
That's the interview process here as well. That's interesting.
I saw that.
I was wondering where we got that from.
But no, what did I learn from Nick? I mean, he is a groundbreaking icon of our trade who has been working consistently and creatively for a long, long time. And I suppose when I did spend some time with him, it was almost 25 years ago. And even at that point, he was just doing it his way, doing what he wanted to do. He really encouraged me to shoot 10 by 8 which nearly bankrupted me in my final year of college. And the last thing he said to me when I was leaving, he shook my hand and gave me a hug. He said, "Mark, you are a lovely, lovely guy, but you're far too nice to be a photographer. Is there anything else you might want to do?"
Wow. And you said?
He said, "But how else am I going to get on the B&H Photography podcast?"
But let me tell you, that sticks with me. Not in a negative way, but in a very positive, driven way. As does any negative feedback I've ever got. I very much now in a position where I just turn it around and go, "You're wrong. I'm right. I'm going to do it this way." Yeah. So,
well, it sounds like
that.
You mentioned that he's at that age and at that probably still today doing things his way.
Correct.
So there you go. I mean, you learn that too, right?
It was a very, very positive experience for a young boy. I wish I had been a little older, a little more mature. I might have been able to take more advantage of it.
I think we're all guilty of that, though.
Yeah.
I look back and I kick myself mercilessly. It's like I got calluses on my backside from doing that.
You should, you can't kick yourself. You just learn from it. You just think, okay, so I'm not going to do that again. Mm-hmm. But try not to have any regrets. Just think how I could have done it differently, and potentially do it differently in the future to make it better.
I think it's interesting. They said you're far too nice. It's interesting. I've met a lot of photographers, and there are a lot of personalities out there. No two ways about
Definitely.
it. But I wouldn't say that a majority of the photographers out there are characters who are difficult to work with. At least not a vast majority of them.
I would agree, and I don't really see any benefits.
No. And if anything, if you know that you're nicer than the rest of them, that's a good tool to have to work moving forward.
Yeah, but then you hear about some of the people that I respect and admire, think do amazing work, and you just hear about. You hear stories about them. Listen, and if that's your process and that's how you get from A to B, I'm not going to tell you you're right, wrong, or indifferent.
That's what I was going to say. Is that part of your process? Is that whole setup and getting comfortable in the studio and with the people around you part of how you get where you need to go?
Yeah. And for me, I've just... if somebody comes into the studio and I'm chatting with them or whatever, and I say, "Hey, you want a coffee?" I'm not going to turn around to like the assistant and say, "Hey, can you get so-and-so a coffee?" I'm going to go walk and get it. And I think that, I think that de-arms a lot of people, puts them not on the back foot, but just makes them think, there's no airs and graces here. So, I definitely use that a lot. And it's also how I try to behave in life. So why would that be different from how I am on set?
I know from my own personal experience, I had 2 or 3 assignments where I was told by the person who gave me the job, he says, you're up against so-and-so, and big names, he says, "You got it, because they are a pain in the ass to have to be with for 2 weeks straight. We could deal with you." So, yeah, it makes a difference, your personality. You can't be too cocky in that way.
I think so. And, with today's market and today's budgets and the way things are, I don't think you get away with it too much anymore.
What about like, how do you want to call it, like power plays on set when you're working with big name people,
never gonna
big
happen.
people?
Never gonna ever get into a power play with somebody.
And what about... if they just don't want to do what you're doing, fine, you walk away. And
I'm never going to ask somebody to do something ridiculous. And I think some people, that it's just I'm going to have a discussion, beforehand with, "Hey, what do you guys want?" And the power play may come between me and a creative director, or me. Like, if you want that, you can ask him, but I'm not asking him that. I'm going to work with this guy again one day, and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about that process then of actually getting to the job. I mean, and I'm sure everything is different. Obviously, when you're shooting Obama, it's a lot different. But let's say it's a celebrity, and who approaches you first? Who do you speak to? Creative directors, publicists? How does that all kind of work itself out?
But like for like an editorial job, you get a call from a magazine. Magazine will say, "Hey, we want you to do this, and are you available this day to do this?" And yeah, I'm available. My first thing that I'm always going to reach out to is, can I have a creative call? Can I know what the creative is? That's my first, because I don't want to commit to doing something I can't deliver on.
That's very important, because, quite often I'd say probably true to a lot of people, especially starting out. You get a call, you get an assignment, you go, wow, I got the job, and you're out there. But you didn't say, what's your point of view on this whole thing? And you can go out there and shoot a whole thing that has nothing to do, the whole mood is different from what they want to do.
Yeah.
That's real important, I would say.
Yeah.
And how often are you given directions as far as that mood, or how often do they just say, we're hiring you because of you?
No, they've always got an opinion. I was listening to a speaker the other day at Sundance, director, and he said something so fantastic. And he turned around and he said, you know, if I'm on set and somebody has an idea, and it's a good idea, they don't get credit for it. I do. Nobody watches the movie and goes, wow, that scene, that must have been that DP that had that great idea, you know. And if it's a bad idea, I just don't do it. But if it's a good idea, I get credit. So, you know, why wouldn't you listen to opinion? Why wouldn't you listen to what other people are suggesting? You know, I have a pretty good sense of what works, what doesn't work. But the bottom line, other people in this industry have been doing things a long time and have great ideas and great thoughts and great suggestions. And I am open to you on set because you know what? It's going to make me look better.
Sure. But they did call you because of the way you work and your style.
Nah, because I'm cheap.
That was my ploy. I made it up in volume.
I'm kind of interested in this too. We spoke about this when we were shooting for the What is Photography project, and you were telling the story of the Obama shoot and how little time you had to actually shoot him when he came in. It was just sort of lickety split sort of thing. How do you engage with a sitter that when you only have a couple of minutes to get an image?
You know, Obama's a great example. You know, I started taking photographs and I realized that I haven't actually even said hello. So I kind of dropped the camera, you know, down and start walking towards them.
Yeah.
And the Secret Service are approaching me from my
I was just going to say, did you get like the clicks, like the cocks of the guns and stuff like that?
Yeah, just like, whoa. And I just went up to him and I opened my mouth and I just blathered some nonsense like, Mr. President, it's such an honor as an immigrant to this country to be in your house and to take this photograph for Esquire magazine. I can't tell you how grateful I am. And he just
was hanky out of his vest for you?
I mean, it was honestly. I mean, I took a lot of crap often, but this was just some kind of stream of consciousness that didn't appear to be coming out of my mouth. You know, apparently, in retrospect, it didn't sound as bad as I thought it did at the time I was saying it. And, you know, he looked at me, he said, oh, thank you very much. It's really nice to have you here. And I stepped back and pulled up the camera and took a few frames. And for these few frames, I had his attention. You know, I knew he knew I was there. I knew he was there. And then you just see like the eyes glaze and he's in his next meeting or he's like thinking about what he's going to have for lunch or, you know, but for that 30 seconds I was there. And it's because I think it's because I was honest and because I was authentic and I think I just amused him.
Yeah.
So, you know, self-deprecation.
Deprecation.
Self-deprecation. Self-deprecation is something I use a lot because, especially in the times that we're living in, you know, you got to be extremely careful not to offend people. And I do not want to offend people. I want people right on the edge of being offended or not realizing that what I'm saying is so offensive. But God, you know, I'm definitely careful. I'm definitely careful in my speech. I'm definitely careful with. So self-deprecation, you can get away with so much more.
Yeah. Good point.
And it works.
Yeah. And what about that first job that, I don't know what phrase I want to use, but that, you know, you felt it was a breakthrough or it led to the next bigger job? Was there anything that you can look back on in that sense?
It's been such a slow grind.
Yeah.
Up
I mean,
very
but the amount of
steep
people you
hill.
photographed over the years is just insane.
I know,
mean,
but you know, it's like I'm super, super fortunate in so many ways, but there's never been like the, you know, the kind of the big oh, this is the one. Yeah. It's always been this kind of like very slow, steady, uphill
When you look back though and you see the body of work, you should be happy.
But it's what I definitely say to some people sometimes when people have been really tough on themselves, like, turn around sometimes, look at how far you've come, and give yourself a pat in the back. And
that's a healthy attitude to have.
I try and do it myself. When I'm like, I'm talking to my wife about maybe driving Uber 3 nights a week to get a pay for stuff.
No, we're joking.
I look back down the hill and go, "Yep, it's a steep hill, but I still need the Uber."
It's easy to joke. No, it's easy to joke about that, but I think that when you are a freelance, especially in the creative world, okay, that's something that's always on your head because you can't relax. You could have a year of solid work and 80 zillion covers and everything else, but you know what? You still have to be thinking forward, and you still have to be preparing and keeping yourself fresh. And I would say most people in 9-to-5 jobs don't have to have that challenge. Yes, you have to perform. Yes, you have to deliver, but you're not a performing dog.
But a lot more now. I totally agree with what you're saying about me as a freelancer, but so many of people I know that seem to be in these very steady creative roles, in magazines. I mean, they've all, magazine creative directors, magazine photo editors, magazine designers. I mean, there's just been slaughter. So, even people who I thought were in very secure positions are like, yeah, I'm out of a job. I mean, all my friends that worked at Time Inc. and, so I
we got a couple here.
I definitely agree with you. For me, it's always been like that. But for a lot of people in our industry and around our industry, it's starting to be more and more. It's like, I'm here, but I don't know what next month's going to bring.
Yeah.
Well, we did a show a few.
How often do you shoot? I'm sorry. How often do you? I mean,
take
I know
photographs.
Would you say on average like a big shoot, a celebrity shot?
I would say if I don't pick up my camera to do something that I'm being paid for once a week, I'm pulling what's left of my hair out.
Yeah.
And that's, you can see how little of my hair is left.
Well,
that's why he started growing a beard. He has to keep up with it.
Exactly. Needs somebody else to pull out. And once a week is really good. I mean, January, February, I cannot tell you, has been absolutely insane.
And do you have an agent?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Okay. And she's wonderful. And her name is Randy Cole. Randy Cole Represents.
All right.
And if I owe you money, please don't call her. Call me.
How long did you rep yourself before you got representation?
I've been pretty fortunate. Here's a great story, right? When I first moved to New York, I've got this portfolio of kind of like crazy fine art, kind of portraiture stuff that I had from college, and it's like prints, and I'm like, I'm going to get an agent. I met this woman who decided to take me on as an agent, who's still an agent and very successful. And she goes, all right, well, we're going to give you a chance here. And I was like, okay, I got an agent. This is easy. So she got me my first gig for, it could have been TV Guide. I can't remember. One of these kind of TV type magazines. And it was shooting in Hollywood, and I flew out to LA. I'd only been in New York about 4 or 5 months. I flew out to Hollywood, and I go to the photo studio. I do this job, and thankfully, I kind of really wanted my lab to process the film. So at the end of the job, FedEx the film back to New York to get it processed. I didn't know the labs in LA and whatever. Meet a friend for lunch, come out after lunch, my rental car's been broken into, my portfolio, my camera, my bag of clothes, everything I owned apart from my passport and my ticket home that were in my pocket was stolen out of this rental car.
Oh, jeez.
So I get back to New York and I'm like, hey, I've done my first job. And my agent's like, brilliant, can I have your portfolio back? We got to send it out. I'm like,
yeah, give me a few weeks.
But the film was out though.
I got the job done, but I had no portfolio. And she was like, Mark, you got no portfolio. How can I represent a photographer? No portfolio. Come back and see me when you get your portfolio together.
Oh,
but all my negs were in the UK.
Yeah.
So it was like, trying to communicate with my folks. Can you send this box? Can you send that?
Wow.
Can you go through this? But there was no way I was reproducing that.
Right.
Now it's digital. You just
But to say it different times. Yeah.
How have you seen that portfolio show up in auction anywhere?
Yeah. And did that force, or not force, but bring about maybe a style change or a change in your work or something like that?
That brought about photo assisting.
Yeah.
I had to live. That brought about, I hadn't assisted before that.
It's hard to imagine nowadays that not physically having a portfolio would be like a roadblock to work.
It's like if you have your phone, you've got your portfolio with you,
Correct.
essentially. I mean,
Correct.
it's crazy.
But what about stylistically? Because I don't know if you want to, if I should say this, but you're kind of known for these tight shots. And was there an evolution to get to there, or was there a breakthrough moment, or how did that come about?
It's interesting. I've been thinking about that more and more, where that came from, how that came about. And I can't find an answer that works apart from to say, I just love people's faces.
Yeah.
I love faces. and I want to see them. And be looking through that camera and being super, super close, I can really look at your face in a way that I can't do talking to you because you think I was so weird.
Yeah.
So
very true.
So
yeah.
the closer I can get, I'm hiding. I'm like, wow, like every
How close are you when you're shooting these?
smelling distance.
Smelling distance, eh?
If you
All right.
can't smell the camera, then listen, I don't
You
know.
have a tricky thing to do that because getting close to, especially for portraiture, it's very easy to destroy the person's face. I mean, just make them look awful. But
Have you ever used a Leica lens?
But I'm just saying, at a distance, though, I mean, you start destroy the nose starts getting, and you seem to be able to straddle that point pretty well. Where if you get a millimeter closer, it's just not going to
kill
work
it.
anymore.
Yeah, I think it's definitely. I tend to creep closer and closer. I'm not going to start by putting a camera right up into your face because, but it's a creep thing, and especially working, when working with. And I know a couple of people are going to, if they listen to this, are going to laugh. They're just, Mark, pull back.
Have you had any, do your subjects say,
Nah.
No?
I don't think so.
Yeah, okay. And what about when you
Or
want...
if they do, I'll say, I can get closer.
Yeah.
But it's not, I just feel if I'm like 6 feet away from you, I mean, what are we like? 2.5 feet right now?
2.5 feet.
All right,
a meter, as they say
so-
on the other side.
So
Yes.
we're like good conversation.
Yeah.
Right.
Closer than this, it gets kind of,
My camera be about here.
that's no big deal.
Yeah.
And what lens? You're talking about on the medium format?
On the
like
medium format, like
yeah.
120 or the 100, which I think transfers to like an 80 on 35. So it's not in your face, but it's conversation wise because it's always a conversation. I mean, I'm always putting the camera down and looking at you and lifting it back up and talking through it. So it's not. I don't think it. I mean, yeah, you hear, oh, you're awfully close. And I'm like, yeah.
Do you know what troubles me more than that? What gets me uncomfortable about that kind of a distance is being able to focus my eyes. I mean, I wear reading glasses. I could see great. Like right now, we're about 3 feet apart. You're fine. You get closer to me, you're gonna start getting blurry. And when it gets closer than that, it's hard for me to just maintain a concentration because I can't focus on you without putting glasses on.
Right.
That's how I would react if you got in my face with a camera. It's like I can't really look at. I have to pull back just to be able to look back.
But you're just
Yes, I know. I understand.
Visual reference. You're holding your hand about a foot from your face. I'm never going to be that close. I'm going to be a couple.
Yeah,
of
but the
feet.
thing is, I always hold my hand a foot away from my face when I talk to people. So that
Makes it easy on them.
Well, on the technical side, though, too, when you're shooting that close, how hard is it to even hit focus? Like, because you're shooting open for a lot of your shots, right?
I have not that great a record for super, super sharp.
You have a few portraits, especially the Graflex series, where there's nothing in focus. I think Sean Connery, he's out of focus all the time, and it's a great picture. By the way, being sharp and being in focus does not necessarily make a picture better. sometimes it's
Was
not
it-
better.
Was it Cartier-Bresson? Focus as a bourgeois concept.
That's it.
Is that,
It's just a suggestion.
Or let's go Julia Margaret Cameron with who's to say what should be in focus.
Exactly.
Now listen, if the eyes, I'm going to get. I'm not going to turn around and say, oh, I meant to put that out of focus. I'm trying to get the eye sharp, but I'm not willing to give up on something which I think is a great portrait because the eyes aren't tack sharp or because something
I
else
agree with you on
isn't
that
tack
one.
sharp.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes you look at it and you go, and sometimes you know what, I love that. Sharp enough.
And for example, on a shoot where you know you're going to try or you're going to get in tight with those catch lights and the whole thing, do you is that decided ahead of time?
Nah, I just always do it.
You just do it, and then you'll do some
Just
other stuff
always do
maybe
it.
in case the creative director wants
try and
that.
do a range.
Yeah.
Try and do a range.
Okay, depending on the time.
And also, like, people got, you take 30, 40 pictures. So let's do something else.
Right.
You get some different energy.
Right.
Right.
What format do you prefer? Because you started off with 8x10, or as you say, 10:8, and medium format, and you also are a Leica ambassador, which means you're shooting. Is it 35 millimeter Leica, or are you shooting the medium format?
Both.
Both. What is a deciding factor when you're going to do a portrait? What format? Because the format changes the picture enormously.
A lot depends on how much they're paying me, whether they get to see the big camera or the little camera.
Really?
Nah, I mean,
Yeah, but Leica's cost, the little Leica's cost as much as the big cameras. No, but
yeah. Nah, it's. I mean, I don't know if this works in any kind of way of making an analogy, but it works for me, so maybe it'll work for you. If I've got a Stradivarius right now and I'm playing in this room,
You better not bust it out.
you're going to hear a beautiful violin, right? But if I have like a non-Stradivarius and I'm playing it in this room, you're going to hear a beautiful violin. If I go to Carnegie Hall with a Stradivarius and the acoustics are right and everything is right and that place is built to maximize the sound coming out from this violin, then the Stradivarius is going to blow you away. So the Leica media format, if everything is right, if the light is right, if I have the time to shoot, if I have the patience and I have the right subject, then that will blow anything else out of the water. Does that make sense?
And you'll make that decision on site, depending.
I
or
just sometimes know that it's
wake
not
up with a good one?
worth.
Yeah.
It's not worth taking the medium format because I'm not gonna have the time or. Now, listen, don't get me wrong. It's a very easy camera to shoot. Click, click, click.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But it's more. I think it's more about how I feel about what's going on. I mean, what I love about the mirrorless and the new mirrorless cameras and the Leica SL is this ability to kind of move my focus point.
Mm-hmm.
You got to think, for 20 years, the only setting on a camera I changed was my aperture because I was shooting at 1.25 for strobe. The ISO was, film. The film was, telling me my ISO. The only thing that I had to play with was aperture, right? So I was like, wow, we got a camera with features. I'm like, features? Features? What features do you need? You got shutter speed and ISO and aperture. But now I love the features. The kind of move up to focus and exposure preview and being able to make it darker or lighter.
Enough of these technical terms.
But so I've really began to dig this, and I've really begun to be able to kind of like talk through my shots more. And almost have the camera be very automatic and, just be able to I can shoot more with this. I can shoot differently like this. So I've jumped on it and I'm really, really enjoying it. But in saying that, when I pull the Leica S out of the bag and I really feel I'm like, I'm king of my little underwear for that moment.
So when you're talking, when you are shooting somebody, you are talking to them usually.
Oh,
all the
yeah.
time. And you're usually handheld. You're usually
Non-stop
handheld
shite.
with this?
Yes, always handheld. Never use tripod.
Okay, all right.
Never use tripod.
Really?
Shoot,
Never.
talk, put the camera down, or hold.
Or talk through it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, also when you talk like if you got a camera and talking a little muffled, they can't quite hear what you're saying, which kind of gets you away with saying some of the most. And then like the people behind you kind of start laughing because they can't believe you've said that, and then they think, no, that must have been funny, and they start laughing, and then you know
get a good shot.
you get away with murder.
I want to go back to your tripod thing. I think it's interesting that you don't use a tripod. I work both ways, depending on what's going on, but you're saying you don't use it. What is it about a tripod that
Restrictive.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you put something on a tripod, it's like listen, if I'm doing a 4x5 or 8x10 portrait, then that's a whole different...
Oh, you're a wuss. Come on. You draw the line there? Come on.
Yeah.
No.
Well, if I'm shooting slower than a 250.
No, the reason why I'm asking is that I know that, again, with portraiture, dialogue and conversation and interaction is really, really important. I always found that specifically for portraits, if I get where I want to be, I'd rather just have the camera sit there and like that. I could just maintain my own dialogue. But again, it's just a different style.
No, I'm definitely more moving and angles and keeping you off guard with my moves. Left and right, and up and down.
Ankle breaker.
Yeah.
What about eyeglasses? And when you're shooting with someone with eyeglasses and trying to handle those lights?
Yeah, Woody Allen had some strange green glares coming out of
I
his.
love it.
That's great.
I'm not, listen, it's like if you don't like it, you don't like it, it's fine. If you think it's wrong, it's fine.
It is what it is.
It is what it is, man. I think it looks cool. It adds to the picture. I photographed somebody super recently, and she has a pair of glasses for set that have no lenses in them because she doesn't like reflections in her lenses when she's photographed. And I photographed it and I retouched the image and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, wow, this looks so weird. What is wrong with this? What's wrong with this? And I dropped a tiny little hint of a pretend reflection across her eye, on the top of the eyeglasses, just under where it would be, but, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. So there's no right or wrong in this biz.
And we were talking about this a little bit earlier, but you do most of your own retouching. Sometimes you send it out, and how do you decide, and how does that work?
I shared an office for many, many years with a guy called Joe Girardi at Q Studios, who is undoubtedly one of the most talented photo retouchers in this business. His ability is beyond my wildest dreams, and I shared an office with him, and I'm going to call him a mentor here, and he's going to laugh if he ever hears this, because I would say that he would have thought I was more of a pain in the ass. Joe, how do you if you? And he's such a kind, warm, and generous human being. The poor guy has actually, over like 10 years of sharing an office, taught me how to retouch. So I had a brilliant base line of how to do things. I'm not going to say right or wrong because there's a billion different ways, but how to do things in a way that work. Now, I think that I've got to a reasonable standard, and what I can do in half a day, Joe or any other really good retoucher will probably knock out in an hour. I like giving it out because it's done, and I'm not obsessing over it. Whereas if it's me, it's never finished.
Right.
It's never finished. Right. Hey, but it's finished, and then you open it the next day and go, oh, it's not finished. So how does that work? Budget plays a part. If we have budget, I'm always going to give it out. Just please let somebody else do this. And then I'm going to be a total pain in the ass with it. And it's going to come back, and I'm going to mark it up. It's not going to be right, and then I know I've been on both sides of that, so I know that that's hard. So sometimes it's just like if I want it a certain way, I'll do it myself.
Right. And when you say budget, you don't say this is my fee and that's that. I mean, whatever it takes to make the job happen. You're usually flexible, or
I'm totally flexible. I mean, you have to be.
You have to be this day and age.
I'm not going to do something I don't want to do for no money. I'm definitely going to do something I don't want to do for a lot of money.
Right. Or something you want to do.
Something I want to do, I'll do for no money. I mean, it's day by day. And genuinely, my attitude, and if when I get on set and I know that I'm earning $40 or what shall I say, 400 or 4,000 or 40,000, whatever it is, my attitude when I get on set that day, I really like to make it. I'm here because this is what I've agreed to do. This is what I want to do, and I'm going to produce the best I can today.
Okay, we're going to take a short break from traffic and weather, and we'll be back with Mark.
We hope you're enjoying this edition of the B&H Photography Podcast. Send us a tweet at BHPhotoVideo, #BHPhotoPodcast.
Okay, we are back. John, you have a question here about...
Do you work often with the same makeup people, same designers, stylists?
Love to if I can.
Yeah.
You know, it used to. I think. You know, these things change now as celebrities and people of stature have very much want to have more control of their own imagery. So, you know, as well as that being an advantage for me, because maybe they'll request me, they're also like, hey, this is the makeup artist I want. This is the stylist I want. Yeah. And a magazine or some kind of editorial is not going to fight them on that. So...
And you're all, you know, the flip side is you're not going to get pushback if they don't like your idea. Well, it was his or her idea. You know, but then again, you lose your creative aspect at the same time.
But yeah, I love working with the same people. I love that. I love the on-set camaraderie. I love being on set. Yeah. I love working as a team. And it's really satisfying. More and more so recently, I've been trying to pare down, see how what do I actually need to accomplish this, and what am I trying to create? Well, I'm trying to create some kind of communication between me and my subject, some kind of moment. And do I need all this to do this? And if I get rid of this and get rid of that and get rid of this, is it affecting the actual end product? And I find that a lot of the times the answer is no. So recently going with one assistant, you know, minimal lights, kind of trying to make it as intimate as possible, build like, you know, if there's a lot of their people there, kind of build a kind of area where it's just, you know, they're not looking at their publicist or their agent, or, you know, the makeup artist will be hovering and say, hey, do what you got to do and then step back. Right. You know, so I can get that intimate communication.
What about camera-wise, now that you're pouring down, how are you narrowing down what you're putting in your bag?
Well, I'm not much of a lens guy, so I don't have a lot of lenses. I try and stick with the same lenses because I know them. Right. I really know them, and I'd prefer to take a couple of steps forward, a couple of steps back. On the SL, I've been using a 28 to 90 zoom. God, is that right? 45? I don't even know.
I'll look it up.
It's the SL, the zoom for the SL, and wasn't a big fan of zoom lenses because you were kind of felt that I was compromising, you know, lens quality for speed. But
That's not the case anymore.
A
lot of lenses.
With this lens, it's just like I don't care if I'm at, you know, wide, you know, as wide as it can be or zoom to 90. I'm still super happy with the shots across the board. So that's been really, really good for me. But the 120 portrait lens on the S is my my nirvana, my absolute go-to. If it's the most comfortable thing I have, I know it the best. I understand it the best. And, you know, what's weird as well is to bring it back around to kind of post-processing. If you know your lens and you know your camera and you know how that file's going to be, it really shortens your post-production time because you know what it's going to do. You know how the colors are going to behave. You know what's going to happen. You take red out, you put red in, or you know how much, you know, you can dodge and burn without starting to mess with the pixels. So I found that using the same or a similar lens and a similar camera for most of what I do is help me speed up my post-production.
You can carry this through to the last thoughts we had about talking about working with the same people all the time. Correct. It's the same thing. When you're out there with the same people often, there's less explaining, there's less dialogue because you're working as a team they know what you're doing, you know how they're thinking. So it's the same process. So if you have 100%. The same people in the same gear, your job's going to go easy because you can actually concentrate on taking the photograph, which is why you're
100%.
there.
Yeah, and that's why on these smaller jobs I've really pared it down, because that's what I want to focus on. You nailed it. It's like, I want to focus on this, and you know what? If I don't have all this stuff,
Well, the distractions
doesn't matter.
Yeah, sometimes options are
matter.
not good.
Correct.
And is there anything that takes you out of, let's say, that comfort zone? I mean, do you find inspiration in that? Let's say we were going to talk a little bit about environmental portraits, or when you're not in the studio and you have everything else going on around you. How do you approach that? Do you want to eliminate some of that now from your workload? Or
I look at people who do great environmental portraits, and I am green with envy. There's not a lot of photography that I'm envious of. I mean, there's a lot that I respect and admire, but there's not a lot and go, gosh, I wish I could do this better. And that environmental portrait is something which still I try and I look in and I'm thinking, but it doesn't come naturally.
What aspect of it
what
is?
stands in the
What are you
way?
banging your head against?
Trying to make.
Is it the concept?
No, it's just, you know, I can go into the room or the situation and pick the right place for everything to be. It's not that. It's not like, oh, I can't see what looks good. It's trying to make that person fit in the room, like somebody like Annie does. I mean, Annie's environmental portraits are just like mind blowing to me, and I'm practicing. I'm trying.
Maybe you need a different lens or a different camera.
Well, that also gets to, we're going to talk about your lighting setup too. Are you shooting continuous or strobe at this point?
Mostly continuous if I can. Sometimes strobe is just all.
Is this LED when you say continuous?
Yeah.
Okay.
LED. I use a company, they're out of the UK called Rotolite. And the light is beautiful. It's extremely consistent.
Are you shooting like a one light setup for a lot of them? Because it seems like in the catch lights, it seems that way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm if I can do it in one light, I'll definitely do it with one light and a full card. Sometimes two. Once again, if I need to impress the client, I'll bring out 3.
Oh, yeah.
Or 4.
Just carry 2 in a mirror. You could fool them.
Exactly. No, I love the continuous light. There's something about the digital capture with digital lenses onto digital capture that is so sharp and so phenomenally correct, and how well the lenses have been corrected between Apple, and how perfect the image is, that when you mix that with continuous light, for me, that gives a little bit of something back to a feeling of film in a way, because you can't shoot as fast. There is movement, there is camera shake, there is something a little different. So I've been trying to balance these two out, which I enjoy very much. I also like seeing what I'm shooting when I'm shooting it instead of strobe. It's new. This is all new to me the last few years. When I used to be strobe.
Do you think that your interaction with the subject too is a little bit different now that you're not firing a light straight in their face?
Definitely. They don't know what I'm shooting. I mean, the SL is super, super quiet. So people are you shooting? I'm like, no. Keep talking. We're done. And the S is a clunker, so people know when it's clunk. But yeah, there's something nice about that. Not feeling dizzy after like 100 strobes. I definitely like that.
Less blinks too.
Yeah,
Right?
there's the huge advantages with not having the strobe and being able to shoot a little more at the off moment, and not having your subject know exactly when you fired or when you're going to fire, or taking a couple of frames fast. Yeah, definitely.
There is something assaulting about it, especially if you're in a longer shoot and you are the subject, not as much if you're the photographer because it's not right at you, but if you are having your picture taken with strobes and that thing has been going with bang, 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 it is assaulting in a sense. There is an assault, whereas continuous light, you're just there.
Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about some of the moving image projects you've been working on? And is that
it's super exciting.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's super, super, super exciting, super scary. Really being thrown back to, wow, I have no idea what I'm doing. Enjoying it. one thing I don't like about it, and I'm trying to work out how to work it, and I think this will come together for me more as I start working with this people consistently again, is I don't like not holding the camera. So when I'm directing, I want to be holding the camera. It's really weird whether this camera has become like a safety blanket or something. But it's I want to be holding the camera. I want to be making the frame, and it's hard not to do it. And been working with a couple of good guys recently, camera ops and DPs that have been like indulging me, saying, "Okay, Mark, hold the camera for a minute, and then we'll do it." Yes, Mark, you can try the steady cam.
You can touch it.
You can try the steady cam. Okay, thank you.
And are you mostly referring to the Life of Man project? Or was that?
No,
that was still and
Life of Man.
Right?
I did all the cam work, but a couple of commercials I've done recently.
Okay.
I did a thing recently for Rob Report, which had a lot of drone flying.
Oh, cool.
So I taught myself drone photography, which.
So this is how you're getting out of your comfort zone. These are the new things you're trying to
push it.
Yeah. Cool.
I don't have a comfort zone.
Yeah. Well, this is.
But wait.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like I know I'm gonna be successful. Everything is every person is a challenge. There's not a secret sauce that works across the board for portraiture, right?
No, but you're taking a basic formula that has worked for you in the past and you're using that as your base.
Yes, but also sometimes it's like, I have no idea why this photograph isn't working. My light's where I think it should be, the camera's where I think it should be, the subject's looking good, and it's not working. And that, and that is always a distinct possibility.
Sure.
And it's always a problem you have to solve pretty quick.
Especially when the clock is ticking and you're there and it's all happening.
Right.
It's real time.
Why is this not working?
Can you put your finger though on what it is that says to you it's not working?
Not always, but what I have learned is not to flog a dead horse. Move on.
Yeah.
Let's try that light somewhere else. Let's move over here.
In this case, something technical. It would be.
It's not so much technical. It's just for some reason something's not.
Hard.
And also, you're dealing with a person. I mean,
Correct.
How often do you find yourself just not able to make that connection with this person that you're with?
Very, very rarely do I not manage to get on some kind of level with this person and make them see me as a human being and interested in me for long enough for me to get a picture.
And often humor is the way in.
I like humor.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't always use. I mean, I photographed Trayvon Martin's dad. There's no humor.
No. Do you research before at time to check out?
Yeah, I'd like to know. I like to know a little bit about who I'm photographing. But the worst is, I've seen it. People like read a Wikipedia page or something, or and then they ask you, and you can just see this person go, "Oh, I see you spent 3 seconds on my Wikipedia page."
Right.
So never kind of do that, and I never. It's never information I would use to kind of prove to that person that I knew a bit about them. I'm going to ask you what you had for breakfast. I'm going to ask you how your car journey down to the studio was. Right. If I know you've got kids, I'll say, how are the kids? Or how old are your kids now? That kind of thing. Right. Because that's conversation. It's like, I loved you and so. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
I asked Jennifer, my opener for Jennifer Aniston was, are you guys going to do another season of The X-Files? And she goes,
that's good. That's a good one.
Funny guy.
Right.
And I got that smile. But listen, that can go horribly, horribly, horribly wrong. I mean, I've been on the edge with that a few times.
Yeah.
It's fun, isn't it?
Just sitting right on that edge where, you should stop digging right now, Mark, and back out of this one.
It's nice to know when you actually hit that edge and you could pull back. It's nice.
Yeah. And I've definitely been there. And you should try and get there. You should. I'm not saying be inappropriate, because you shouldn't be inappropriate. You should not be disrespectful. And if you're going to be disrespectful of yourself. Make that a thing.
Yeah.
But never use that person as humor. never, ever, ever use anybody else on set as humor. I mean, I've been in the situation as a photo assistant where the photographers kind of used me as a joke, and like nobody's impressed with that.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like people look at you by how you treat other people. It's a very this job is a very social experiment. I think sometimes.
Cool. Yeah.
Always shoot F2 if you want any technical advice.
Say again?
Always shoot F2.
Oh, okay. F2 would make a joke. That's all you need, right?
I'm not sure what F2 is, but apparently
It's important.
that's where you go.
If you're shooting 10.8, you've got a problem. I'll tell you right now. So.
So there's a shot of Michael Shannon, the actor, on your website where there's some slight movement to that.
Ooh, love that, yeah.
How'd you do that?
I think I was flipping through the interwebs and was kind of looking for a way to do something, you know, one of these days and I saw some talk about volumetrics and thought, it'd be fun to kind of use some of this and try and make one of my stills come to life a little bit. So worked on it for a while. I'm definitely not the first to do it, not claiming it, but with a friend of mine who's a bit of an After Effects god, kind of worked out this system for creating these. And they're just super cool. Yeah. They're fun and weird. And what's weird about it is it's got to be a really high quality still, or else it looks like a movie. But because if it's really high quality, like a still, people are like, oh, how do you do? It doesn't look like a movie. So that's what's kind of fun about them. I'm actually looking into taking this another stage further, using some laser tracking to create the depth. Wow. Something you're going to see soon. Watch this space.
Any program names you can mention?
After Effects.
Is it After Effects? Okay.
I mean, the work is done in After Effects. Okay. I mean, you know, look up depth mask. Okay. If you want to work out how to do it, look up depth mask, volumetrics, dominatrix. No, depth mask. You know, there's lots of different techniques out there. Mine is not particularly groundbreaking, but it's time consuming.
It starts with a single frame?
Yeah, they're all single frames.
And so going the other way, you have this Graflex project.
Always shooting my Graflex. There's something about, I think in life, you always have to find things that ground you. I could talk a lot about, going home to Scotland and, seeing some of my old friends and like, oh, you think you're a big shot now, you live in New York, don't you? Think you're fancy? Well, you're not. You're just like us. And that is super, super grounding when you go home and you see a lot of people and they just, you just brought back to where you are and who you are and who you came from. And I think going to the Graflex for photography does that for me. It's super, super simple, super, super basic. You have aperture, you have a shutter speed, and you have light coming in and looking at it.
And you're not looking through the lens.
You're not looking through the lens, and it's grounding.
And if you want to incorporate that into a commercial job, do you just kind of ask first?
They ask me, and I do everything in my power to say, listen, this lens is 100 years old. There's no perfection. You cannot guarantee anything. It's very, very tough to have people emoting because the shutter speed's slow. So, yeah, let's do it, but
within its limitations. It's great within its limitations. Do you shoot Polaroid or film with that, by the way?
I used to shoot a whole lot of Fuji.
The FP 100.
FP 100. It's all gone. So can't do that. So shooting more film.
Okay, because it has a Polaroid-ish look about most of the pictures I've seen.
A lot of them were shot and then scanned. Now back to shooting film.
What do you prefer, the film or the Polaroid? Which
Polaroid.
Yeah, okay. It kind of lent itself to the kind of stuff that you're doing with it, kind of imagery.
It's beautiful. The Jeffrey Berliner over at the Penumbra Foundation.
Yes, and he sat in that very seat on several occasions.
I mean, if you want to talk about like wealth of knowledge, look up Penumbra Foundation. Look up Jeffrey Berliner. If anybody is interested in any kind of alternative processes or lenses or pretty much anything to do with photography from
and you
the
did a
beginning
workshop
till now.
there recently.
Yeah,
no?
just taught a
Or
workshop there.
just
Yeah,
happened- okay,
like Academy
okay.
workshop.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's just grounding. Just to circle back there, it's just really, really grounding to work on that camera.
Well, it's kind of speaking of Penumbra, we shot the What is Photography series in their highlight studios upstairs, and I wanted to get to the quote that you provided for us when you sat for us, and maybe we can use that to riff on some ideas about photography. So I'm going to just read it. This is Mark Mann on photography. My favorite part of photography is communicating with whomever I'm working. It's when I become who I am. I can be anxious during a shoot, but I don't tend to show that anxiety. If things are going well, I even have a sort of out-of-body experience, like I'm floating above the scene, looking down at all that is happening. The scene is calm, even if I'm not. Process is important, but when all is said and done, photography is looking at the past in a single image. Which the poll quote
I
we
said
used.
that.
Yeah, you said all that.
Jesus, that sounds pretty good.
It does sound good.
I think you found it on Wikipedia.
Yeah. But
Apologies if I stole that from anyone. Now it's public.
That actually is that's a very powerful quote.
well, what I liked about that quote too is, I mean, so much is about the process, but then you kind of came back to this idea that what photography really is something that is in the past.
Correct.
So it not having to do with the process, you know.
Totally.
So
Totally, it's you're documenting what's it's
over the moment it happens, right?
Yeah, it's just done. That's what's crazy about going back to look at old shoots. It's so done. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you know, definitely sometimes I'll go back and I'll see something that I didn't see in the edit, especially if it happens pretty fast, if the turnaround's pretty fast and I'm making quick decisions. But then, you know, torture for me is going back to look at old work. I'm gonna be 25 years in New York, I think, the year after next, 2020. And I've been throwing about the idea of doing a 25 years in New York book vanity piece that will obviously end up in the bargain basement bin in Barnes & Noble. So hold out, you'll be able to get it for $2.99. The reason I've never done a book is I'm so scared of the bargain basement. Right. You walk past Barnes & Noble and you go to the bargain basement, it's all these like photography books. You're like, yeah, that's where mine'll be. So I've relented to the idea of doing this. And I've started to kind of plan it and talk to a couple of designers and people who are interested in helping me. And the thing that's just as scariest is going back to look at the old images, or, you know, people have ideas for this. Well, you know, it'd be great if you could do like 2 images from every year. God, I want to go back and look at this stuff.
Yeah.
And all my negatives are very nicely stored in my cousin's wine cellar in New Jersey.
Really?
Yeah, it's
That's where mine are.
that's been the
You
problem.
related to Phyllis also?
Yes.
Jeez.
Phyllis
I
and
thought
I are
he looked
close.
familiar. Oh.
But it's climate controlled and it's a great storage space. So, you know, I go out and see my cousins quite often and I just know that they're down there. And I'm not going today. I'm not going down today.
Would you rather have somebody else put this together, or do you want to do it? Because I'm trying, listening to what you're saying right now.
I really, really, really want to do it. I really, really want to do it, but I don't think it's something that somebody else. First of all, I couldn't afford to pay somebody what it would cost for them to do it. So it's something I got to do myself, and I'll get on it. I'll get my head around it.
Do you think you're a good editor of your own work?
Terrible.
Because that's a challenging thing.
Terrible editor. Because and you know, I know why. It's not deep. It's something happened when I took a particular photo. Maybe they said something funny, or I thought, wow, that was great, and that's the photo that's for me. But if you weren't there and you didn't hear it, then it means nothing to you. So
you can't be objective in looking at your own work. Okay.
Correct.
It took me a long time to get there. I think I'm pretty good at it now, but I know for a lot of photographers, I think it's rough.
I think I'm good at knowing what I should be delivering to the client.
Okay.
I think that's that.
No, you
as
give them
say,
a good tight edit.
Yeah. I think,
and then let them
yeah.
play from there.
But for me, like choosing that one image, I'm always probably going to choose an image that doesn't work as well without an explanation of why I've chosen it, which is not really for me what photography is.
Yeah, often once you have to explain something.
Yeah, so very often. Now, my wife is been in photography business for almost as long as I have, starting off as a photo editor, photo director, director of photography, VP of whatever, and she is an incredible editor, and she's brutal. So I don't abuse this, but often I'll say, hey, can you look at this?
Right.
And then we'll fight over it. And she'll say, well, don't ask me if you don't want to hear what I think. But she's brutal, but I know she's right.
Yeah.
And you know, she'll say, I'm choosing this because. Okay, but look at the one where his hand. And she's like, doesn't work.
Right.
Move on.
I love it.
So I do have help in that direction.
That's important to be
Yeah.
able to do, just be able to swallow and let other people do
Yeah,
things
and
like
I
that.
don't abuse it.
Yeah.
Send selects. We all know that if you send 10 pictures and there's one that you don't like,
That's
you
you.
know that's going to be the one. So don't send it.
And
you
you
know?
usually just send the one or two, or what do you do? I mean, it depends on the job.
I'm not that diva. It's just
Yeah,
like, hey, we took 100 photos or whatever. There's 25 that are acceptable.
Right.
You don't want to send them 100 pictures, and they don't want to see
they don't want to see
100.
it. But I don't want to be like, this is the only 3 that work. It's like, here's a dozen. What'd you like? And then, people that I've worked with more, sometimes people come back and say, hey, Mark, we like where that was going. Is there any more where you haven't cropped the top of his head? Or is there any more where we could see a little bit of background? Oh, the ones where I pulled out? Yeah, okay, I'll send them over.
I want to talk a bit about the Life of Mann project, if that's all right, because that is about the most incredible idea and opportunity. Maybe. I mean, how long ago was it now?
2014.
2014. Okay,
Yeah.
so just to kind of summarize,
Esquire was turning 80, and they wanted to show the life of man. So they wanted one 1-year-old, one 2-year-old, one 3-year-old, all the way up to 80. And I get called into...
and not just any. I mean, most of them were pretty famous.
Most of them are pretty famous, and it's really interesting, actually. I think that project is beginning to be more interesting now, as sadly some of these, like Robin Williams passed away, Marla Haggart passed away. So, you get a call from a magazine that you've worked for, that you admire, that you respect, that you've read as a kid, and they call you in, and it's something interesting because not only is the creative director there, but the editor-in-chief is in this meeting. And, David Granger, who I got to know a little bit, he's David Granger. And I'm sitting, don't get me wrong, I've had a career as a photographer, but I'm sitting in an office with like the editor-in-chief of Esquire and the creative director about to tell me something important. It was, electrifying. We wanted to photograph 80 guys, one of every age. We're going to reach out to everyone from Clinton to Bradley Cooper to Robert Redford to and I'm starting to think, is this a prank? And we wanted to do it in your style, Mark. We want you to do what you want to do. It's gonna take maybe a year, and then that's pretty much going to be the main feature. And our 80th anniversary is going to be the cover. And can you do it all for a budget of $36.84 or whatever it was?
Plus, you did ask for lunch, right?
For lunch.
Okay.
But it was the most, it was electrifying, and it was just...
Had to be incredibly satisfying to be recognized to do something
man.
of that caliber. They called you in.
Yeah, it was just everything I could have dreamt of. And it's not like it was, oh, I'm done. It was like, wow, what can I do now? What can I possibly do? And it was amazing. It was an amazing year.
And would they call you in? Okay, was it set up at your studio, different locations?
No, I traveled all over the country.
It was to go to these folks, yeah.
And it was pretty difficult for them to do production-wise, because if you think about it, it was only one of each age, right? So they were never going to send out 2 letters to a 48-year-old, right? They were sending out one because they couldn't, for instance, Obama, I think, was 51 that year. So, they sent out to Obama. They weren't going to ask another 51-year-old,
Right.
and the president doesn't get back to you immediately, So there was this kind of, like ABC people, but I think like 90% of the A's said yes. The only people...
And they had to be the age when they were publishing the magazine too, so they had to kind of look ahead.
So,
something
yeah.
like that.
I can't quite remember. Or, when the magazine came out.
Right.
So I think it was, I think the only one is like Obama at the time. I mean, it sounds ridiculous now with politics as they are, but was being demonized a lot for, imagery of Obama was being used, and they were turning him into the devil, and they were a little concerned about the ring lights in the eye and how people may abuse that. So I was like, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Yes, we'll do it. But that came so late that we'd already done Plan B, which was Woody Harrelson, because we just didn't know. So he was the only one that we did 2 people of that.
I see. Okay.
Of that age.
Interesting.
But it was super fast. It would be like you'd get a call. Hey, Mark, Merle Haggart's going on stage in Anaheim on Tuesday. He'll do the shot. He'll do the shot for you between the tour bus and the stage. We've got to get you out to LA tomorrow. Okay, I can do that. 3 or 4 of the kids I shot were 6-year-olds that had just become United States citizens.
Okay.
So I actually went to their ceremony, and after they finished the ceremony, I was set up in the judge's office behind. That was beautiful.
wild.
That was lovely.
great.
That's great.
That was really lovely.
terrific.
Interesting.
When you're setting up for a gig like that, what are you bringing with you?
Well, I created a kind of rig. Funny, I used a tripod. But there was a reason for that. They wanted every shot to be the same. They wanted the light to be the same. They wanted every
You
guy.
needed uniformity, so therefore, okay.
So I set up a rig. I created a tripod, and on the tripod was a little tether table where my computer was, and then on the other side was the camera and the ring.
Yeah.
And it all fitted into like I could carry it. So I would say 20 or 30 of these I did by myself and no assistant. I mean, not that it's such a big task, but it's like when you show up at Bradley Cooper's house by yourself, it's very disarming for everyone. He was going to do it in the garage, and he said, "Oh, you by yourself? Come on in the house." So we did it in the house, because it was just me and him.
Yeah.
And like when his people see it's just me and him, okay, we don't have to. We can step back. So it's very disarming. It's great, and it was a really good lesson that sometimes just showing up by yourself with a camera and your basic equipment, you're going to get a little bit more intimate. So this is what I've been trying to push for the environmental stuff. Where I've been trying to do environmental stuff, people in their houses or people, whatever is a little personal project I'm working on, is just super, super simple. I'm going by myself. I have my camera, a couple of lights. Let's see what happens.
That's a good point. We were talking about post-production, and you do some of the post yourself. Sometimes you send it out, but I mean, the goal ultimately is to make it look like there's no post has been done. Is that your school of thought?
That's the art. That really is the art. Nobody wants to see anything that's overworked.
Yeah.
And what's crazy now is that these amazing filters on your phone that skinny you and make your eye. I mean, it's just mind blowing. So I think there's a push from photographers to go back to a certain realism. But let's be honest, sometimes realism is not that great. So
what kind of what kind of touch-ups are you doing? Is it about making the person look a little better, removing blemishes? Is it lighting? Is it...
I came up in the darkroom, so I spent hours and hours dodging and burning. And I had my little dodge and burn kit, little pieces of fuse wire with different shapes on them and cutouts and so a lot of what I'm talking about is I'm gonna take something off your skin that wasn't there yesterday or 2 days ago, like if you have like a like a pimple or like a bruise or a zit
whatever,
or scratch, cut yourself shaving or
a tooth coming through your cheek, anything like that. Yes.
I'm gonna take that out for you. I'm going to try not to take out the things that you've earned on your face. Your wrinkles, your stuff that you've earned, I'm going to keep. But what I am going to do is try and enhance your features with dodging and burning. would like to think that what I do could have been achieved by a master printer in the darkroom. So just a lot about lightening and darkening, shading and lighting, darkening and lightening. And if you guys look up, there's can maybe do a little research. You know, I'm talking about the Avedon print that was sent to the printer, and there's maybe 15 or 20 bubbles on it.
No.
Plus 5, minus 3,
Right.
plus 2, minus 4. So, all stuff like that where you're literally just dodging and burning tin hands. Listen, Photoshop makes it much easier, and and certainly wasn't a master a darkroom printer, but I printed, and that's how I came up. So when I'm talking about post, I'm talking more about that.
Yeah. And do you get requests from the publicists or the people that are involved to say, you know what, make her look prettier, make him look younger? And do you follow suit, or you try to, or you let them handle it?
Where's the fight? I mean, it's like, you want, sure, I can do that. I'm not. There's no. It's a photograph.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody's paying you to do it, then I'm getting here. This is, it's like
Well, I was just wondering if you did that yourself, or that would be something then would be handled by the publication or whoever was going to publish it. Yeah.
all different ways.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes somebody will request retouching in such a way that I'm never going to put on my personal site.
Yeah.
Or what you see on my site is very different than what was published or what was bought. And I think that's my way of, hey, this is what I would do and this is what you would do.
Sure.
I'm never going to give somebody a hard time if they want their client to look a certain way. I mean, that's fine.
Yeah. Cool. So as we wrap up, I just wanted to throw a couple names at you because you've shot, it's a who's who. We all know that, but some of my favorite people over the years, and maybe you have something to say about them, and if you don't, no worries. But I do want to start with George Carlin.
Oh my gosh, that was amazing.
Any interaction with him?
Yeah, I mean, it was in a hotel room, and it was in a ballroom, and I think MGM. Mm-hmm. And I love these when you get there with your stuff, and they say, "Is this space okay?" And you're in like a 30,000 feet ballroom.
Yeah, you're in a cavern.
This will be fine. And it's just that anticipation. You're ready, and you're waiting, and then you see somebody walk towards you, and you go, "Oh my gosh, George Carlin." And
this was earlier in your career too.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So when celebrities still, wow,
they still do.
Okay,
they still wow. Yeah. And I go and I shake his hand, Mr. Carlin. It's such an honor to meet you. And he just pulls out a joker out his top pocket and goes, "I'm ready." And I was like, "Oh my God, George Carlin's just giving me this amazing shot."
Photo, yeah. Bill Murray?
Bill Murray was possibly the best photographic experience or life experience apart from my kid being born that I've ever had.
He has no filtration system. Everything goes, it seems, is what I'm gathering.
God, he's just, I think I'm over my career, I've learned to be a pretty quick judge of character. I'm not saying good judge of character, but I've learned.
You're here.
I've learned pretty quickly which way you can go or what leads, and often I get to lead, right? Even with A-lists or whatever, I lead. Yeah. I know it's only going to be for a few minutes, but I'm leading. Right. Bill Murray, I had no idea where to go, where to be, how to be, what to do. He had me so off kilter and in such I met the guy, I shake his hand, I'm saying, "Mr. Murray, so good to meet you." Dr. Murray to you. That's funny. And then a couple of minutes later I said, "All right, Mr. Murray, let's doctor, call me doctor." And he didn't do it to anybody else. But for the time that I was with him, every time I said his name, doctor. And then, I said, "All right, so we're ready to shoot." This could go, I could tell the story for 25 minutes. Right. But we're basically, at this point, I'm like, yeah, I'm with Bill Murray. Yeah, this is amazing, but I got to get a photograph. So I'm trying to coax him over into my little area so I can just get the photograph. And he goes, "You know what? let's go over to my set first. I'm going to show you what I do at work.
Too funny.
And he takes me over to set. He's making a movie in Brooklyn with, I think it was Melissa McCarthy at the time. I can't remember what the movie was. And they're shooting a scene. He takes me over and he has his arm around me and he's holding me pretty tight. And he's introducing me to everybody as we pass by as his special friend Mark. Like the director of the movie is like, hey, this is my special friend Mark. Melissa McCarthy, this is Mark, he's my special friend. And you have no idea where to be or where to put yourself or how to play it or what to do. Right. So, I'm trying to be, calm. And so eventually, hey, Bill, doctor. Dr. Mark, come on, let's get this picture. And he goes, okay. And he came over and he sat and he gave me exactly what I needed, exactly what I wanted. But I felt that I'd known him my whole life.
That's wild. And the last one I wanted to ask about is somebody you shot for the Life of Mann, and it is Robin Williams. And I know you did there was a video as well, which I watched, and it's heartbreaking. I don't know if you remember what he said.
Is it
about
about
the future?
About his grandchildren.
Yeah.
What can I say? Yeah. There's certain people. There's certain people that have I think the way I describe it is it's almost like they have a incredibly powerful light coming out their forehead. Mm-hmm. And it's more than an aura. It's a presence. It's something. And when they turn and face you and they connect with you, you feel like $1 million. And when they turn away, you can feel yourself deflate. I've met 3 or 4 people, I think, or that have this. I mean, when he looked at you, you knew he was talking to you. And one of the first things he heard I was Scottish, so he went into a very non work friendly version of Mrs. Doubtfire. I'm speechless. But then what was so amazing is that his ability to change to regional accents. So then he went to Mel Gibson doing Braveheart, right? Which is somebody doing an accent, right. And it was spot on. And then he finished up with Billy Connolly, who's one of my favorites. And he was so spot on. It's like, imagine a guy from Scotland being able to do South Boston and the Bronx, right? With that kind of, and he was just a light. He was just shiny. But, it's funny when I look back at some of the pictures on that edit, I can see a certain little sadness there. And it was just, it's Robin Williams. And I'm devastated that he was in so much pain that he did what he did.
Mark, it has been an absolute pleasure talking with you today. It's really been a lot of fun, very informative, and just great chatting. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And folks, F2.
That's all you need to know.
That's all you need to know.
Actually, there's something else they need to know. If people would like to see all of the work we've just been talking about, website, Instagram, where should people be going to see your work?
Everything is Mark Mann Photo. So website's markmanphoto.com. Instagram is Mark Mann Photo. And, please reach out. Reach out on Instagram. I love conversations. I love hearing what you're thinking. I love looking at your work. I love looking at, young photographers' work. It's an inspiration. And I'm available. People were really good to me when I was coming up, and happy to try and give back and to offer any words of wisdom I have or things to avoid.
F2.
That's gold. If you are not a subscriber to the B&H Photography Podcast, what you waiting for? Head on over to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Overcast, or Spotify and sign up. It is absolutely free. You can also find us on the B&H Explorer website and the B&H Photography Podcast Facebook group, which is now live and kicking. If you haven't seen it, go over, sign up, join us. We're having a lot of fun with it. And tell them Al sent you. For now, on behalf of Jason, John, Cory, Mark, and myself, thank you so much for joining us today.